prepping the areas where the rock are gonna go on top of the liner. Not only do we put a fabric, we put a bed of pea gravel. That is a small gravel, 3/8 inch size, and is the perfect bedding for the rocks to sit. It also allows us to get the straps out a lot easier when removing straps from the boulders. So one thing I can't stress enough when I do my videos, and I want everybody to make sure you pay attention to this, and this was taught to me by my old operations manager at Garden State Koi about 15, 18 years ago, a gentleman by the name of Dylan Orlado. And Dylan would always tell me, Tim, make sure you stand back and look at what you're doing from the viewpoint of where everybody's gonna be watching it from. And over the years, that's always stuck with me and is one of the most important parts. Coming up on the back patio here and looking down, that cave is really starting to look awesome. You can still see a little bit of the black pipe, but that will be hidden shortly. One thing I do not like is the two rocks that are right next to each other. I don't know why they bother me, but those are going to be hidden out of sight once we put gravel, so you'll never see them again. This is where I'm standing, the main viewing area, taking a look at the cave. We still got to cover the top of that one as well as the second one over here. While I'm working on that, we got Ralphie up here and he's working on cobble in the pod with Alessio. For me to get this cave in here though, we have a couple things we need to do. I have a trusty little Sawzall right there. I want to slide this rock over, so I got to cut some of that plastic out. We also found a nice beautiful rock to sit across the top there once we're all done, because when we're finished, the only black that you want to see is the inside of the cave. And when it fills up with water, that'll just be a dark hole that looks like a cave in nature. The reason why we use a pipe like this is for support. We cover a lot of gravel and rock around it, and we want to make sure that doesn't collapse over time. So Jay and Carlos here found a whole bunch of concrete and some, I guess rebar wire, if you want to say. It's probably about a 1/4 inch thick wire. And then right there, right by Carlos's feet, is a slab that they're not able to break. So tomorrow we'll bring in a demo saw. We got to kind of cut some of this stuff out of here, but this will be where the pump vaults will sit. One thing that's good is that we were able to find out that we had a problem today, so we're not dealing with this tomorrow. We can get over this problem, have sand in here, and get the aqua blocks and pump vaults in place. So I'm in the town of Florida, New York today. Before I head down to the job site, look at some chimney block. I'm at Rowe Brothers. It's a local supply yard for masonry as well as lumber. Hopefully they have what I'm looking for. The reason for these blocks are they're going to be the pedestal for us to raise the bridge out of the water 2 inches and make it look floating. We may have to paint them to disguise the concrete, but they are sure going to be awesome. So they have these beautiful hosta gardens, and we thought what would be perfect was to make a river of hostas that look like they're going right down in the pond. Hostas do love water, not too much of it, but nice wet feet, and we'll make that grade right out of the pond. This will look awesome. Ralphie right now is digging out the area where the waterfall boulder is gonna sit. This waterfall is gonna be something special, a little different from what we normally do. It's gonna be super low profile with a couple of smaller drops. They want to mimic a spring in nature. Instead of it being a big mound here on the reverse elevation, I think this is going to be a great idea. I also think it's going to look like it might be flowing away from the pond, which will be pretty cool. There was not enough room for a negative edge basin over there, but a pondless waterfall on the other side would be awesome. So we got the waterfall area dug out and we're ready to place the first stone into the pond. That stone there is going to be our left side frame boulder over here. We got a couple other ones picked out. We're building a waterfall, like I say all the time, make sure you think ahead. Also, check out those stairs we already got in. That's going to be right next to that feeding stone area. Got to add one more stone down below there and that will be complete as well. So the waterfall area is starting to be placed. Started off with one boulder there, second boulder there. Then we got the guys over there strapping up a third boulder. We're going to actually have 4 different little spills falling in the pond. Very small drops. Remember, we got to try to make that look like a spring slash stream coming into the pond. I think this is going to turn out really, really awesome. So this is that third stone that we talked about. It's not too big in size, but it's enough. Make it look like the water's diverting around it. Our last stone is going to be this beautiful stone here. All the moss and everything. I cannot wait to place this in as that right side frame boulder. We'll be able to build spillways in between all 4 of them. The waterfall here is definitely a little tricky. Elevation definitely comes into play, or lack of. So the drops that we're gonna be making are gonna be small drops. This here is probably about a 6-inch drop, and we'll do a series of 3 of those probably going up here, coming from all different directions. Right behind this waterfall, kind of where Ralphie is kneeling down, we're gonna have some stepping stones too, that the water will pass through in between them, and you can step across the waterfall slash stream. This is gonna be really, really neat. especially with that in the background. So these two guys over here have gone through a lot to get this intake bay in. We got Carlos here from the Garden State Koi install team and Mr. Jason Borowski from Liberty Pods. Jason, why don't you tell them a little bit about everything you've had hit to put this intake bay in?
Apparently there used to be a pool here. So not only did we hit the concrete with the rebar, clay, stone, bricks, block, pretty much everything you could think of that you don't want in the hole.
And you even had to bring a demo saw to cut some concrete out.
We cut the concrete out,
right,
cut all the rebar and the mesh wiring.
Ay. But we're finally here, and they're able to dig out the area for the intakes. We got these pump vaults going in, 2 Aquascape pump vaults. We're gonna have extensions on them. And then those aqua blocks will go down in the hole here. The elevation is perfect. We're dug down about 19 inches from water level from where those blocks will sit. That way we have enough room to put some rock on top of those blocks, which would be cobblestone, and still have a foot of water above those intake blocks. That is the screen and the intake area for the leaf debris of this pond. And they will sit in this area here. Once again, we need to extend the liner a little bit where that stepping stone / feeding stone is gonna be. In order to do this, because the liner is a little short and we always like to have extra liner behind our rocks, we are adding a piece here. It probably would be okay without the seam. If there's any problems later on down the line, we have an extra piece of liner to be able to pull up and fix the edge if any settling happens. Ralphie and Alessio are working over here on getting the pillars set in place for the floating bridge. We're using a 3/8 inch chip stone for a leveling agent, as well as a well compacted area here. We're looking for an ultimate height of the top of this concrete to be 2 inches above the water level. We're gonna have another pillar right next to it over here. And the reason why we want that 2-inch height is anywhere where that rock is sticking out, we'll have a way for the debris to get underneath that stone and into the intake bay over there. We'll also be setting 2 other boulders on the side here, one over here and one over here, with a 4-inch gap and a 4-inch gap. It's gonna be really neat to actually step over the water and see down to the bottom of the pond in between each of these stones. Both pillars are level, front to back, side to side. That cement is sitting 2 inches above the water level. We're about to go take lunch, and when we get back from lunch, we're gonna set the bridge on top of this to see how it sits, how level it is, what we need to do to get it level, and to see what it looks like. After that, we'll take it all apart, and we're gonna have to glue this all together. Once we get the bridge back on there, we'll be able to paint this a nice black color so it's not really seen under the water, and that stone that's sitting on top of that's gonna look like it's floating. Because the bridge stone is larger than the forks on the MT100, we're using a ratchet strap to secure the heavy part of the stone back onto the forks. That way it doesn't flop off as we bring it through the gate. So after putting it all together, we had to take it all apart. Carlos is over there patiently holding the rock from hitting Ralphie in the head. Ralphie just put some glue down here on the bottom blocks. We just filled them with some 3/4 inch chip, and now we're placing the block on top. 3/4 inch chip in the middle really sturdied the blocks up, and the glue will seal them right together. That's some construction adhesive right there. We'll also do that to the stone, to the tops of these blocks. So the pillars are all glued together, filled with 3/4 chip, and we're about to bring the bridge stone on top of it. This is gonna be a great illusion as you walk across the water. Really can't wait to see how this is gonna look when the pond's filled. So the bridge stone is in place. We're taking some final measurements, making sure everything's perfect, and then we can start setting the stones over here and on the other side that lead you across. Those stones are specially picked out from EP Jensen's nursery in Florida, New York. Up top there with Scott and Sue and Mark, Jose, Bravo, and all the other guys and girls. So great place in Florida, New York. If you ever need stone supply or plants down in their nursery, give them a call. So right now the guys are putting a layer of 3/8 chip down. We have a nice flat boulder strapped in front of us, almost mimicking that guy right there. And that's gonna sit from the edge of the pond and up to the bridge. So Ralphie and Alicia's almost got that wall in place. I was giving them a little hand before. The 3/8 inch chip behind, and we're almost ready to set that stone in that allows you to step over to that floating bridge. While they've been doing that, myself, Felipe, and the other guys, Mr. Jason Borowski's back today, we've been putting gravel in between the aqua blocks and the outside perimeter. That'll be a great area for us to set some boulders. Over here, we're gonna be adding another pump vault extension, as well as some more aqua blocks on top back there, So we have a thin layer of gravel and we can step up this elevation. We're at that point that we're working on the second landing stone. That one went in and it sure looks awesome. A nice little step over to that floating bridge in the middle. And right now we're doing some measurements. Raphael is just positioning himself so he has better balance with the machine to be able to hoist that. That flat rock is pretty heavy for that little machine, and he's got to be in the perfect position for safety.
Here we go.
Ralphie and the guys worked really hard on getting this bridge in, and it looks awesome. Working as a team, it's amazing what you can do. That bridge in the middle is going to look like it's floating right over the water, and I cannot wait to see this filled. I know I said this before, but every time I see another step going in, it makes me even want to see water in this even more and more. Not only do you have to worry about the gate access as you're building the pond here in these beautiful gardens, but we are also worried about the limbs and the roots on that beautiful magnolia tree. Been here for a long, long time. You can just tell by the diameter of the trunk. So the intake area is pretty much complete over there, as well as the rest of the pond. We still have a waterfall to do when we come back next week, but right now we're working on running the 2 plumbing lines, one from that 3PL, the other from that 5PL, and they're running to the biofall on this side of the pond. They're gonna come out of the intake bay, come right along here, and then cross right under the patio walkway that leads to that floating bridge. On the other side, we'll have another hose that comes out of the other pump vault on that 2000 AquaSurge, and now I'll be running that mysterious little secret waterfall over there.
Are you ready?
So we are at day 9 here, and it's time to start the waterfalls. We have 2 waterfalls to build over here, one with that 2500 biofall, the other one with the 6000, and this is gonna be more of like a stream / spring. We're only going maybe a foot above water level, kind of keeping it nice and low. My plan is a future project, hopefully with a pondless waterfall on the other side. The larger waterfall, which is not gonna be large at all, it's only a 2,000 gallon hour pump, is gonna be a secret like trickling waterfall out of the hillside there. You do not want to see that concrete block. And Felipe's clearing away gravel so we have enough gap above those blocks, and then we can glue this bluestone to that. Instead of seeing cinder block, you'll see a nice slab of bluestone. While we're working on that, Ralphie and Alicio's over here working on getting the streamliner in for the 2 biofalls. We have a 2500 biofall over there and a 6000 biofall over to the right. What will happen is we'll fold that liner up after they get it tucked and get some soil back in there, and then we got to place a series of stepping stones because a new pathway will lead you across the waterfall.
Are you ready?
Raphael and Alicia are finishing up on the waterfall section over here with those stepping stones, adding the smaller rocks, cobbling out areas. We've been adding some plants, started disguising the biofalls, which look awesome. You can't see them, and that's the whole point. While that's going on over here, I'm working with Carlos and Felipe, and we're building a miniature waterfall, a little secret waterfall that comes down this hill, no wider than 8 to 10 inches, smaller boulders, and then they're gonna plant it heavy so it's like a trickle through the plants. Should be really awesome. A lot of little drops, a lot of little trickles. Can't wait to see this thing flow. So it's bright and early on the final morning here, and I just pulled up to the job site, and I'm meeting the homeowner Gail to go see the fox that come visit her every morning in the backyard. There's a family and a couple of ones just kind of gathered together, and they come over here, and she likes to feed it in the morning. It's going to be a really cool experience. I hope they come out and they're not afraid because I'm a stranger. Gail has convinced me to put on one of her bathrobes so the fox, I smell more like her. And it will also hide my fluorescent orange shirt. Sometimes you gotta do whatever you gotta do, but this is gonna be a really cool experience.
See, here comes one's running across the back right now.
Yep, right by the fence.
Right by the fence. There's actually another one where that one is under the trees. There's another one behind him, but you can hardly see him because he's in the way back.
I see him under the tree right there.
Yeah, there's one under
right
the tree.
over there.
And then there was one up here on the porch, but or on the deck. He just left, but he'll come back. I'm gonna do this slowly. I got extra food just to give us more time.
So we're wrapping up the final day here, and this project came out amazing. Between the secret waterfall, the floating bridge, and the low profile waterfalls, to make it look more like a spring, everything is awesome and came out perfect. The elevations, the homeowners are ecstatic, and I cannot wait for this project to be planted because the gardener here, Sonia, has a tremendous eye as well as the homeowners, and this place is gonna look awesome. Probably one of my best projects for the season due to the gardening around the outside. This is that low profile waterfall that I was talking about. 3 different drops into the pond, stepping stones. We got a waterfall facing that direction over there. We have a waterfall facing that direction over there. And you cannot forget about that floating bridge, which came out absolutely amazing. And then one of my favorite little things here is this secret little waterfall. A small little aquascape 2,000 gallon hour pump. And that thing has a really nice trickling sound. Once all the plants fill in and tuck around that, it's gonna look like a little stream coming through. And I'm so glad that the homeowners have said that that is exactly what they imagined. One of my favorite parts of this project was actually not what I did here, but what the homeowner said to me. The image that she had in her head is what you see behind me. And we created exactly what she wanted. And to me, that is my favorite part of the project. So before I let everybody go, I just want to let you know, I came back to the project the day after we finished, and I just wanted to let you know what to expect from a freshly built koi pond. Sometimes the water's not crystal clear right away, but within a couple of days, the pond will clear up. So remember, this is only one day after filling, and it was a little cloudy yesterday. We got it as clean as possible. Let me show you what the water looks like. So right in front of me here, you can see the gravel already. That water is about 8 to 10 inches deep. In the middle of the pond, it's still a little cloudy, and that will clear up as the days go on. Over in this area right here, you're probably around 12, 18 inches deep, and you can already see the gravel there. Also, the sunlight will play into the clarity of the water. Within a few days, this pond should clear up, and that should be crystal clear.